What's up, guys? We are back looking at the Miami Dolphins going on the road to take on the LA Rams here in Week 10 Thursday Night Football action. Let's jump in here and find the best value on the side and over-under, and while we are at it, let's find some of the best player props of the night. On top of Thursday Night Football, we have 5 games on the NBA slate, and we are going to break down those as well. Guys, Sunday went about as well as it could possibly go. We did have one loss on the day. We had the Colts +4. They ended up taking a 30-20 loss there. Joe Flacco turning the ball over 4 times, sunk the ship for us, but other than that, it was absolutely clear sailing, guys. We had the Saints +3.5 going against the grain, going against the public money, and a lot of other handicappers out there. The Saints came away with the 20-17 straight up win for the dead cat bounce with the new head coach coming through for us. We also had the over there in the Pittsburgh-Washington game, over 45, good as gold. There were 55 total points scored in that game, and the Steelers got the win. We had Pittsburgh +3 as a premium pick as well. We had the Chargers -7.5, guys. They ended up with the 27-17 win there. Herbert and the running game absolutely dominated out there against the Titans. We had the Eagles -7.5. That was another nice win, guys. 34-6 blowout win there for the Eagles. Hurts had 4 touchdowns in the game, so we'll take that, put another win on the board, and we finished things off strong, guys. We had the Arizona Cardinals at +1.5. That was a blowout win there for Arizona, a 31-6 win for them, a monster game for Kyler Murray, both on the ground and through the air, and it looks like the Jets are pretty much cooked. So yeah, a 5-1 day there on Sunday. Love to see that, guys. Don't forget, hit that like button if you're enjoying these videos and you want to win all of your bets there on Thursday. It's good luck. It shows support to the channel and all the hard work I'm putting in here every single day. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on our daily content. You can now also sign up for a channel membership by clicking the little join button right below the video. Members get exclusive early access to all NFL and college football videos and get their names up on screen just like right now. I really appreciate the support from all of you. Seeing that little badge next to your comments absolutely warms my heart. Our videos are sponsored by StumpTheSpread.com. We have a team of experienced cappers over there for every major sport, currently covering NFL, college football, NBA, UFC, NHL, and NCAA basketball. NCAA basketball, coincidentally, is coming off a 2-0 day there on Sunday. This is one of the best times of the year to be in the mix with so many sports going on. Click the link in the description if you're interested in signing up, and also to join our free email list to get the occasional free or premium pick straight to your inbox. Comment below with any bets you're looking at today, and we will give you our best advice on all of them. We are committed to responding to every single comment every day, so let us know anything you want to say about my picks, these videos, or anything you see here. As always, our favorite picks will be in the pinned comment down below. Now let's get into this matchup between the Miami Dolphins and the Los Angeles Rams. The Dolphins come into this game, guys, not having an amazing season. Obviously, injuries to Tua and all that stuff is a bit rough. Last week, guys, they took a 30-27 loss there playing at the Buffalo Bills. Another very close loss. They lost the week before by only a single point, and yeah, losing by a field goal here against Buffalo can't feel great. Tua actually had a pretty decent day, 25-28, so very, very accurate out there. 231 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was only sacked once, and luckily he emerged from that sack without a brain injury, so that's got to feel nice. Just not quite enough to get him over the top, guys. A-Chain rushed the ball well. Mostert had a good day. Also, guys, they combined for 22 carries, 1 rushing touchdown, and 119 yards. And yeah, it just wasn't enough. Not a lot of long runs there. The longest was 16 yards, but they were putting up positive yardage pretty much every time they touched the ball. It just wasn't quite enough there to get the job done. We saw Tyreek Hill, 4 receptions for 80 yards for him, but he comes into this week banged up. So we'll see what we actually get out of him in this one. Nobody else in the wide receiving group really had a crazy day. A-Chain, though, caught 8 passes there. All 8 of his targets, caught all 8 of them, put up a receiving touchdown and 58 yards there in the passing game. So, yeah, very good stuff there from A-Chain. He continues to be one of the most dynamic backs out there in the NFL. But catching the ball, running out of the backfield, he can pretty much do it all. The Dolphins also did a pretty good job taking care of the ball. Mostert did fumble it away once, so a pretty costly turnover there, no doubt about it. You cannot be turning the ball over, but the defense wasn't terrible, I guess. I mean, they did force 1 turnover there, so, even there on the turnover margin, but they didn't do a great job of stopping Josh Allen there in the passing game. Although they did have 1 interception, they gave up 3 passing touchdowns and 235 yards through the air. They only had 1 sack. They gave up quite a bit to the running game. James Cook had 44 yards on 10 carries. Ty Johnson had 23 yards on 3 carries. Not an insanely bad day there from the Miami defense, but also not great. And really, I mean, is this a defense that we're super excited about, guys? I mean, over the course of the season, they're 17th in the NFL, giving up 23.4 points per game. So yeah, just not incredible, not a disaster necessarily, but not a good enough defense to outweigh, some of the trials and tribulations this offense has gone through with the injuries to Tua. So yeah, we'll see what they can come up with here against the Rams. In terms of their injury report, guys, Miami on offense, having Tua upright, always going to be the main thing, but almost as important is the health of Tyreek Hill. He's dealing with that wrist injury and apparently going to be an actual true game time decision whether or not he's going to play. Of course, we as bettors hate to see that kind of stuff because it's very difficult to, cap this game not knowing if Tyreek is going to be playing out there. So we'll see. If we get any updates on that, we'll do our best to let you guys know down in the comments. In terms of the offensive line here, Austin Jackson's going to be missing, and I don't feel great about that, guys, because we all know what can happen to Tua if he takes, one bad hit or, a couple mediocre hits. I don't know. It just seems like the kid has a propensity to fall on the back of his head. So hopefully nothing terrible like that happens, but it's definitely something you have to keep in mind for this guy. On defense, Miami almost fully healthy here with Javon Holland, questionable with a knee issue. And since he was, pretty limited there in practice on Saturday, I think there's a real chance he can end up sitting this one out. Or if he's out there, guys, might not really be at fully 100%. So we'll see what the Fins can do here going on the road to take on the Rams, who have quietly, guys, they've been playing pretty well. They've actually managed to win their last 3 in a row to get them up to 4-4 on the season. They're not, completely out of the mix there in the NFC West. We've still got a long way to go. And yeah, coming off of a 26-20 win there at Seattle. It did take them overtime. It wasn't a game that should have went into overtime. The Rams should have won that thing in regulation, but they'll take the win. And, winning over their last 3 weeks, a 20-15 win over the Raiders, a 30-20 win over the Vikings, and then that win last week in overtime at Seattle. And obviously playing at Seattle, not the easiest. We saw Puka Nacua make some pretty questionable choices and end up getting booted out of that game very early with only the 1 catch. So definitely some questions there about his attitude. Hopefully he's, got his head on straight. It sounds like he does. Maybe his attitude is a little bit too strong, but, just don't want to be throwing punches out there or doing anything that's going to get you ejected from the game that early on. Stafford had a decent but not great by his standards kind of game. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 298 yards passing, but he only completed 25 of 44 passes. I think we can expect a bounce back performance here from Stafford. In terms of the running game, Kyron Williams had a little bit of a down game for him as well. 22 carries, only 69 yards. Nice, but not so nice, guys. We expect him to have a much better day in this one, and he's been having much better days over the course of the season, basically, the whole way here. The dude has been an absolute monster. In terms of the passing game, Cooper Kupp had to soak up all of those targets that were left behind by, Puka Nacua being out for the vast majority of the game. He caught 11 of 14 targets. He had 104 yards. Didn't find the end zone, though. Demarcus Robinson had a big day. He caught 6 out of his 9 targets for 94 yards and 2 touchdowns. So very good stuff there in the passing game for the Rams in terms of the wide receiver group. I do think we can expect better things out there from Stafford, though. And guys, on the the defensive side, we didn't see amazing performances from their secondary. They came with the turnovers. That was great. That we also saw the Rams pile up 7 sacks there against Geno Smith, but they gave up 363 passing yards. That's not ideal, and 3 passing touchdowns. So I would like to see them be a little bit more locked in there in coverage. And, if you're going to come with 3 interceptions, it's probably going to be fine, but you have to try and limit the damage there a little bit. And it wasn't against a full strength Seattle receiving group either. So definitely something to keep in mind looking at this game. We also saw the Rams not really shut down the run there. Kenneth Walker III, 83 yards on 25 carries, isn't anything insane, but definitely something we want to be watching here, guys. So let's hop on over, take a look at that Rams injury report. On offense, both Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp are listed as completely healthy for this game, which is a huge deal and should be spelling big things there for the passing game. But on a more negative note, we've got Rob Haverstein. He's going to be out there on the offensive line, and Kevin Dotson is questionable. We don't have a lot of clarity on his situation, so reason for concern here. And the Rams, in terms of the health of their offensive line overall, we don't want them to be missing 2 starters here. I'm not that terrified going up against the Dolphins defense, but definitely something that we want to keep on our radar. On defense, the Rams could be missing 1 linebacker and their safety, but Cameron Curl did practice there on Saturday, and Rosenboom did also. So I think there's a good chance we see both of them playing here on Monday night. Everybody's trying to get ready and be out there for a big-time nationally televised game on Monday Night Football. So expecting the Rams on defense to be pretty much healthy. The offensive line is where our concern lies. In terms of the weather for this game, obviously we're in a dome there. there. So yeah, this Monday night football game, we don't have to worry about the weather too much, which is, it's actually going to be a rainy and blustery day there in Inglewood, California. So yeah, kind of a nice thing that this one's going to be played in a dome. Don't have to worry about any of that. Looking at some trends for this game, guys. Miami, they're only 2-6 against the spread this season. They are 5-3 to the under. The Rams are only 3-5 against the spread this year. They are 4-4 to the over/under this season. In terms of a side for this game, guys, I like the Rams at home in this one. LA finally has Kupp and Nakua back and off the injury report. That is a huge deal. McVay is 11-7 against the spread after a win in a divisional game, and the Miami defense is terrible. I'm not buying the Jalen Ramsey hype, and the Dolphins' run defense is not that good either. Putting up numbers against the Bills isn't really going to impress me that much, and I don't think Tua and this offense are in that great of a spot. And guys, I'm looking out for a solid kind of bounce back game here from Kyren Williams. So definitely give me the Rams -2.5 in this one. I think it's a pretty good value. In terms of the over/under, I'm slightly leaning towards the under in this game. Both teams want to run the ball in this matchup, and this is a very big number to me. Tyreek might not even play in this game, and if he doesn't, that really hurts the overall production of that Dolphins offense and makes them much more likely to focus even more here on the running game, which will shorten the game and, lead to a lower overall total score. So that's my lean on the total and the side, guys. Let's go ahead and hop over here to some player props. First up, I really like Stafford here, over 249.5 passing yards at -135. He's been over this number in 3 out of the last 4 weeks. I don't think we see anything major change here. And obviously having Nakua back, I think he gets to 250 yards in this game the vast majority of the time. This play, guys, has an excellent chance to end up in the pinned comment. I also think you might want to take a look here at Kyren Williams, over 20.5 rushing attempts at -105. So a very reasonable price. He's been over this number in 4 weeks in a row, guys. So definitely something to be taken into consideration here. I do wish it was like 19.5 instead of 20.5, but regardless, I think we're going to see the Rams hand the ball off plenty of times. I am a little bit worried about taking both of these plays. You might want to take one or the other, but I also don't think it's too crazy to see him get 20, rush attempts and to see Stafford pass for over 250 yards. That's definitely something that's happened before. Definitely something that could happen again in this game. And also for the Rams here, guys, I like Cooper Kupp over 69.5 receiving yards at -105. The dude's an absolute monster out there. I think he'll have a totally fine game, even if he is against Ramsey out there in that matchup. And if it's not Ramsey, I think he can dominate any other guy in the secondary, or any 2 guys in the secondary really that we see thrown at him by the Dolphins. So yeah, I like Kupp to have a big game in this one. You could also talk me into Nakua to have a big game in this one as well. I don't think either one of those are terrible. You could even try and take both of them. That might be a little aggressive, but we've seen both guys have big days before. So in terms of a negative prop here for the Rams, guys, I think Parkinson under 19.5 receiving yards at -115 is not a bad look, guys. He had no targets last week. Puka Nakua is now back for this game, so there should be even less targets out there for him. So yeah, I just don't think we see him getting to 20 receiving yards. And he could catch 1, maybe even 2 passes pretty easily and not crack that number. So definitely like that under. In terms of some Dolphins props, guys, I like Tua over 21.5 pass completions at -130. I know that seems like kind of a niche bet here, but he's been over that number in 3 out of the last 4 weeks. I do think Miami's probably going to have to throw the ball quite a bit in this game. I know they want to establish the run, so that might eat into this a little bit, but I do think Tua over this number, not a terrible value. And last but not least, guys, I like Mostert here at 35 plus rushing yards at -115. He's been way over that number in 3 out of the last 4 weeks. I think we'll see him find at least some success. And if he gets to, like 7 carries, 8 carries, 10 carries, we definitely expect him to beat that number. And I don't think that's too crazy. And that's not too crazy of a price either. So definitely like Mostert here to get some rushing yards in this game. Hey guys, jumping in here with a quick ad break. This is a great time to sign up at stumpthespread.com. Signing up for a premium membership gets you access to our entire team of cappers covering NFL, college football, NBA, NHL, UFC, and NCAA basketball, which is just starting up and has been one of our most profitable sports over the years. We make things extremely easy for you with pick notifications directly to your phone and unit sizes assigned to each play so you can see where our confidence level is on every individual matchup. To test out the service before you buy, join our free email list to get the occasional free or premium pick straight to your inbox. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you're new, and also if you want to experience peer-to-peer sports betting while paying almost zero juice, click the link in the description to sign up at betopenly.com. Now guys, back to the games. Now guys, let's go ahead and jump over to this little NBA slate we've got going on Monday. We've got 5 games. They're not terrible. We're jumping in here on the Cleveland Cavaliers going on the road to take on the Chicago Bulls. The Cavs come into this game looking like the best team in the NBA, guys. Not a lot of question about that. They're 11-0 to start the season. Pretty crazy stuff. They blew out the Warriors, and then they got a very close win there over Brooklyn. Yeah, kind of crazy to see them win that one 105 to 100, but hey, it's a win. They'll take it, and they will stay perfect so far on the season, guys. We saw, Cleveland get nice 20-plus point performances from Mobley, Garland, and Mitchell, so that's got to feel great. The bench really came up big in this game, which is a nice development, guys. We saw pretty good stuff there from Karis LeVert, although he went 0 of 4 from 3, so that's not great. Merrill did go 2 of 4 from 3, so, some long-range shooting chipped in there from the bench. Other than that, they just did a really good job overall out there, posting nice positive plus-minus numbers. Obviously, Garland, Mitchell, Mobley, all having good games. That's nothing new. They've been playing really well this season. We did see Jarrett Allen struggle a bit out there, so maybe he could be in for a bit of a bounce back, but we'll just have to see, guys. Overall, not a bad game there from the Cavaliers. They come into this game looking pretty healthy, guys. Basically a clean injury report right now for Cleveland, which is not something you see all the time in the NBA. But yeah, when they've got their whole starting unit ready to go, they've got their whole bench ready to go. Like, this is a team that can definitely handle business, even against some pretty elite competition. So we'll see what they can do here going up against the Chicago Bulls, who at 4-6 on the season, not necessarily having the best time. They just snapped a 4-game losing streak with that win their last time out over the Atlanta Hawks. They won at Atlanta 125 to 113. So yeah, that's great, but this is not a Bulls team that's found a ton of success this season, and a win over the Atlanta Hawks really not going to get me going too much, guys. We did see all 5 Bulls starters score in double figures, so that's something positive. They managed to win the game despite shooting only 33% from three-point range. They did shoot 50% from the field, though, so that's got to feel pretty nice. They significantly out-rebounded the Hawks, so that's good. Zach LaVine only 1 of 5 from 3, but still managed to put up 18 points. We saw 3 double-digit scores coming off the bench. Dosunmu continues to look like a monster. 19 points off the pine there for him. 2 of 3 from 3, 7 of 10 from the field, and he was out there for 31 minutes. So they had him playing plenty of time, and yeah, no reason to take him off the floor when he is absolutely cooking like that. In terms of their injury report, we do see Zach LaVine on there. We see Lonzo Ball still on there as well. Zach LaVine, he is dealing with a thigh issue and a little bit of that, like flu that's sweeping through the NBA. He's listed as probable for this game, so obviously it seems pretty clear that he's likely to be out there. In terms of Lonzo Ball, guys, still wearing that splint on his wrist. No timetable yet for his return. I don't think they really want to be like rushing him back or anything like that. A wrist sprain is a wrist sprain, but giving this dude more time to get, conditioning on his legs and, lessen that workload on that extremely surgically repaired leg and knee and stuff, I don't think is a terrible idea. So yeah, no reason to be rushing Lonzo Ball back for this game, where the Bulls, they're getting 7.5 or 8 points out there. We've got an over-under of 237. Cleveland 9-2 against the spread. That's an NBA best record against the spread this season. They are 7-4 to the over this year. The Bulls are only 4-6 against the spread. They are 6-4 to the over. That's a pretty big total out there, guys, of 237, but it's not massive. I couldn't blame you too much for taking a look at that over if Zach LaVine ends up playing. In terms of the side, it's kind of rough for me to take the Cavaliers here to get the winning cover, but I don't think it's insane. That game they played against the Mets was back on the 9th, so they've had a day off and stuff. They'll be playing here on the 11th. I don't think this is a terrible spot to maybe take Cleveland to get the winning cover, but I don't really love the side in this one that much. The Cavs have been playing, a few close games lately, obviously coming off of that super close game there against the Brooklyn Nets, and yeah, I just think this winning streak is getting a little bit on their mind. I know they did blow out the Warriors. That was a crazy game, but still, guys, yeah, I don't know if I can quite trust Cleveland to win this one by 8. So yeah, maybe a tiny lean towards the Bulls in the points as long as Zach LaVine plays, but I definitely like this over 237. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the Washington Wizards going on the road to take on the Houston Rockets. The Wizards come into this game very much fresh off of a loss, guys. They played the Orlando Magic last night, and they lost at Orlando 121 to 94. So had to hop on that quick flight there from Orlando over to Houston to play this game. But yeah, losing 121 to 94, guys, not a particularly competitive game, and I don't think we're going to see the Wizards in that many competitive games this season because they are pretty freaking bad, guys. Jordan Poole continues to play better this year than he did last year, no doubt about that. 24 points, 3 of 10 from 3, 8 of 19 from the field overall. He only had 2 turnovers in the game, but yeah, not a lot of chances for him to rack up a lot of assists because he is not getting too much help out there. Kuzma still out. He did not play in this game. The bench looked terrible. As a team, they shot 30% from 3. They got pretty significantly out-rebounded, and yeah, just a rough situation, a rough time to be a Washington Wizards player or fan. In terms of their injury report, guys, we see Carlton Carrington still on there. We see Kyle Kuzma still out. And yeah, I don't know really when we're going to see Kuzma back, guys, but it won't be for this one apparently. And yeah, Carlton Carrington, he's dealing with a leg issue, and yeah, we'll see if when he comes back. But overall, Washington probably going to be without Kuzma. That's the important injury news there. In terms of their opponent for this game, the Houston Rockets are 6-4 on the season. They come into this game fresh off of a game last night as well. They played at Detroit, and they managed to get the 101-99 win before flying back home to Houston. So yeah, not too crazy of a flight from Detroit to Houston. Obviously, coming off of playing a back-to-back game, that can always be a little bit rough, and it was a close one, guys. No chance for the Rockets to be letting up there. They needed every bucket they could get. They, got outscored there in the fourth quarter. Pretty significantly. 29-35 to let this game become super, super close. We saw Alperen Sengun have a great game, guys. He put up 27 points, posted a plus 11 out there. He only had 2 assists in the game, but 10 rebounds, and yeah, a pretty solid performance out there. Van Vliet really struggled shooting the ball, guys. Only 7 points, 3 of 13 from the field, 1 of 7 from 3. In general, we saw Houston really struggle shooting the ball from deep. 7 of 34 from long range. Only shot 40% from the field overall. They really managed to win this game thanks to crushing the boards 53-46. So we'll see if they can replicate something like that here against the Wizards. I don't think it's necessarily impossible, guys, but we'll have to see. The Houston injury report, relatively clean. Steven Adams going to be out for this game, but other than that, everyone else is ready to go. Looking at the numbers, the Rockets, they're minus 13.5 for this one. We've got an over-under of 227.5. Washington only 2-6 against the spread, 5-3 to the over. Houston 5-5 against the spread, and they are 6-4 to the under. So lots of mixed trends in this game, guys. I'm gonna have to see an updated injury report on the Wizards to know for sure which way we want to lean. But this might be a spot with 2 tired teams that we want to lean a little bit here towards Washington getting all of those points. I'm not 100% sure if that's something I love. You're going to have to check back on that pinned comment tomorrow and see if this one ends up in there. But right now, kind of going to have to wait and see. In terms of that over-under, I would shade maybe just a little bit towards the under. But yeah, not a game that I'm super duper interested in until I get a little bit more clarity there on, like Kuzma and other guys there for the Washington Wizards. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the Brooklyn Nets. They're going on the road to take on the New Orleans Pelicans. The Nets come into this game 4-6 on the season, so not having an amazing time, but not quite as bad as I would have guessed. They're coming off of a 105-100 loss there at Cleveland, and they've honestly had back-to-back games where they played really well against 2 of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. The game before that loss at Cleveland, they played at Boston. They lost that game 108-104. So honestly, the Nets have been very competitive this season in that, very close loss there against the Cavaliers. We saw them do some positive things. They did shoot 35% there from three-point range. Cam Thomas had a decent but not insane game, at least not by his standards. The real reason they lost this game there was the bench, guys. Not a lot of bench production out there, and they did struggle on the boards a bit, but it wasn't a disaster. They didn't get, outreach. They actually won on the boards technically, but yeah, just not a dominant game for them there on the glass. Claxton, he put up 10 points, but yeah, Cam Johnson, a good game, 23 points for him. Schroeder put up 22 points of his own. It was just that bench really lacking production there, so we'll see if they can make up for that bench production here going on the road against the Pelicans. The Nets are pretty healthy coming into this game, obviously without Bojan Bogdanovic out there, but until we don't know when he's going to really be back, so we'll see how that goes. But we'll see what they can do here going up against the Pelicans, who continue to get more bad news, guys. They are 3-7 on the season, coming off a 115-88 blowout loss there at the Orlando Magic. So yeah, very, very tough stuff there, guys. Not what you would be hoping to see, and the injury report is an absolute tragedy right now for the Pelicans. Trey Murphy III out. Zion out indefinitely now with that hamstring issue. Jordan Hawkins out for this game. Obviously, CJ McCollum's been missing time as well. So yeah, just very, very few positives to find here for the Pelicans, guys. It's really down to like a skeleton crew situation. We've got Brandon Ingram really having to try and do it all. Jose Alvarado's playing big minutes and being asked to take a ton of shots. They did, I don't know, guys. I was trying to find something positive. There's really not a lot of positives. They got crushed on the boards by the Magic, and I don't think things are going to get that much easier here going up against, even against the Brooklyn Nets. The Magic aren't anywhere near full strength, and still a rough time out there. So yeah, looking at the numbers for this game, we see the Pelicans are getting 1.5 points playing at home. We've got an over-under of 212.5. Brooklyn is 8-2 against the spread this season. They are 6-4 to the under. New Orleans is 2-8 against the spread. That's an NBA worst number 2 against the spread, and they are 6-3-1 to the over. You can maybe talk me into over 212.5 here. I think we'll see some offense in this game, as neither one of these teams are really defensive juggernauts, but definitely, guys, give me the Brooklyn Nets here on the road. I don't like any of this news here for the Pelicans. It's getting very, very dark there for New Orleans. Once again, bad injury news. Zion, I don't know if the dude can't keep himself in shape or what the deal is, but he just cannot stay healthy. So, yeah, kind of a tragedy situation here for the Pelicans. I think it gets worse here. Give me the Brooklyn Nets to get the win and cover. Next up, guys, we got what is probably the marquee game of the night there in the NBA. We got the LA Clippers. They're going on the road to take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Clippers come into this game, guys, 6-4 on the season, so not having a terrible start to their year, even without being, even without having Kawhi. They just won a 105-103 game against the Toronto Raptors. So, yeah, a pretty freaking close one, guys, but hey, they found a way to get the win, so got to give them credit there for the win, even if it wasn't too pretty out there. I mean, they've had a day of rest. That was back on the 9th, so they're going to be rested and ready to go for this one, but man, it was a nail biter down the stretch. The Raptors made a big comeback there in the fourth quarter to make this game super close. We saw Harden play pretty well, although he was only 2 of 8 from three-point range. He's been managing to get to the line again, a 12 of 13 from the line, 12 rebounds, 7 assists. He did post a -1 out there, so yeah, a little bit rough there, but yeah, Norman Powell, man, he is having a huge season. 24 points for him, 3 of 6 from deep. We saw the Clippers as a team shoot 10 of 26 from 3, so not bad there. They won the battle of the boards by just a slim margin, and generally speaking, they played really well. The bench was very productive, guys. Porter Jr., 15 points off the bench, 2 of 2 from three-point range. It looks like bringing on this young guy has been a great basketball decision. Kevin Porter Jr. putting up nice numbers off the bench this year. And just in general, guys, I mean, we see the Clippers coming into this game pretty healthy. Mo Bamba's still out. We don't care about that at all. Other than that, this team is fully healthy. Who knows when we'll ever see Kawhi Leonard play, but yeah, generally speaking, guys, the Clippers, as we know them right now, are healthy for this game as they go on the road to take on the Oklahoma City Thunder, who played last night at home, guys. They ended up taking a 127-116 loss there against the Golden State Warriors, and possibly more concerning news, guys, we saw Chet Holmgren go down with a hip injury, so yeah, a little bit rough there. Taking a loss to the Warriors this season, maybe not feeling that bad. The Warriors are playing much better than expected here at the beginning of the season. We saw some positive things. Obviously, SGA not having his best shooting night, but managed to make it to the line 14 times and scored 24 points. But basically, all the starters posting negative plus-minus ratings, guys. And Chet went out of this game pretty early on. He only played 5 minutes. He was 0 for 3 in those 5 minutes, so he wasn't having a great time. But yeah, just a kind of a rough day out there for OKC. We'll see if they can bounce back here. Obviously, this team is not at full strength already. They're going to be very, very short on big man. Hartenstein obviously not back yet, and yeah, I don't think Jalen Williams is back either. So yeah, this team needs to get healthy before we see the Thunder in their final form. Chet is technically listed as day-to-day for this game. I'll be very, very surprised to see him actually play out there. So other than that, the injury report, like I said, guys, no Hartenstein, no Jalen Williams. So yeah, once they get back to full strength, this is going to be a scary team, but right now they are definitely missing some guys. So looking at the numbers for this game, guys, we see the Thunder are -8.5 playing at home. We've got an over-under of 218.5. The Clippers are 6-4 against the spread, 7-3 to the under. OKC 7-3 against the spread and 5-5 to that over/under. Guys, this line feels almost too good to be true, honestly. I mean, definitely give me the LA Clippers here on the road. I think they're going up against a very tired, very banged up Oklahoma City Thunder team. Jump on this one early, guys. That 8.5 is already gone. Get on that 7.5 if you can. I think this is a great spot for the Clippers. You could honestly talk me into taking them straight up to win this game because OKC very much not at full strength. I also like lots of overs there on Zubac's props because there's going to be nobody out there for the Thunder that can guard him. So definitely give me the Clippers and the points in this game. Also, you could definitely talk me into maybe just a small look there at the over since it's a pretty small number, but not really interested in that, guys. Much more interested in the Clippers. Last but not least here, guys, we're looking at the Sacramento Kings going on the road to take on the San Antonio Spurs. The Kings come into this game, guys. They played last night. They won an overtime game in Phoenix. Now they're flying to San Antonio, so not a long flight, but they are coming off playing an overtime game. They dominated an overtime there against the Suns, winning 127-118 in the end. So yeah, all's well that ends well, I suppose, for Sacramento. But yeah, they really laid an egg there in the third quarter and had a lot of ground to make up, but they did it. Sabonis 20 points. DeRozan really just going nuts out there for the Kings. 34 points for him. Fox 21. Herder shot the ball really well. 5 of 9 from deep for him. 17 points there. Not a lot of bench production here for the Kings, guys. I mean, Malik Monk having a really mediocre start to his season. We'll see if he can turn it back on. But yeah, just not a lot of dudes producing there off the bench for the Kings. So that's probably my main concern for this team right now. And they are playing a ton of very close games. So we'll see if that injury stuff, or, not the injury stuff necessarily, but we'll see if the fatigue sets in. Malik Monk is day to day, guys, dealing with that ankle issue. He rolled it a little bit there against in that overtime game, and we'll see he did not return. So I would very much expect him to be missing this game here on the second half of back-to-back. So that Kings bench is even going to be more short-staffed. So we'll see what they can do here going on the road to take on the San Antonio Spurs, who are now 4-6 on the season. Wemby had a crazy game there, guys. He's shooting the ball better all of a sudden. The expectations are that Pop will be back soon, but they did lose their last game there against Utah, falling 111 to 110. So yeah, just not having an amazing time in terms of winning games, but we did see Wemby go 6 of 9 from 3-point range, so that's a nice sign, guys. He had 16 rebounds. He did turn the ball over 6 times, but he also had 7 blocks. They just have to figure out how to use him a little bit better, and I think we're going to see some pretty transcendent stuff from him. Chris Paul had a just disaster game shooting the ball. He was 3 of 3 from the free throw line, but 0 of 6 from 3. Yeah, 0 of 6 from the field. They were all threes. Not a lot of gas left in that old Chris Paul tank, it doesn't seem like. We did see... Yes, we would. Yeah, no, I can't spin it in a positive way, guys. The Spurs got owned on the boards. They turned the ball over 20 times. That's not a great look. They had those 10 blocks, so that's cool. But yeah, you want to be coming up with some wins. And while there was some nice stuff off the bench, like Vassell scored 21 points, the bench did not post any positive plus-minus numbers, really. So definitely concerning stuff here for the Spurs, who, yeah, looking at the numbers for this game, the Spurs are actually -1.5. We've got an over-under of 223.5. Yeah, Sacramento 5-4-1 against the spread this season, 5-5 to the over/under. San Antonio 5-5 against the spread, and 5-5 there to the over/under. Guys, this is a pretty tough game to call. I tend to lean towards the Sacramento Kings here, but I'm worried there might be injury news that we don't have updates yet, or just guys that are going to be sitting out the second half of this back-to-back. So we'll see what ends up happening here, but maybe a slight lean towards the Kings. I don't have a big read on this game, or even on the over/under. We've got to wait and see if we get a little more clarity there on those injury reports tomorrow morning. That's all the games we have for today, guys. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. Thanks for watching. You can click the link in the description to check out stumpthespread.com, and we will see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.